4.4 addition and subtraction equations, and the objective is 4.4. I can solve addition and subtraction equations. And whenever we're solving equations, the goal is to get the variable by itself. So we're going to fill variable into this blank. And when we solve equations, we always do the inverse operation. That means the opposite of what's being done to the variable. So the opposite of addition would be subtraction, and the opposite of subtraction would be addition. And then let's do some examples. So for the first example, let's do x plus 5 equals 12. And to start, I always draw a line down my equal sign to remind me that whatever I do to one half of the equation, I have to do to the other half. And I want to do the opposite of what's being done to the variable, so we're adding a 5 to the x. And the opposite of adding 5 is subtracting 5. So I'm going to subtract 5 on this side, which means I have to do it on this side also. 12 minus 5 is 7. 5 minus 5 is 0, so all I have left on the left side is an x. Because x plus 0 is just x. So I have x equals 7. When I'm finished, I should check my work. So to check my work, I plug 7 back into my equation for x. So I think 7 plus 5, is that going to be 12? 7 plus 5 is 12. Since this is true, I know I did this correctly, and I got the right answer. For the next example, let's do y minus 9 equals negative 3. So to start, I'm going to draw the line down the equal sign. And then I should probably change the sign in the one behind first. And then the opposite of subtracting 9 or a negative 9, either way you think about it, would be adding a positive 9. So I get y. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0, so just a y is left on that side. Negative 3 plus 9 is 6. Then I need to check my work. So I'm going to plug 6 in for y. Is 6 minus 9 negative 3? 6 minus 9 is 6 plus negative 9. 9 minus 6 is 3. The negative one is bigger. So it works out, so I got that one done correctly. Okay, for the third example, let's do 4 equals 13 plus b. So I'll start with my line down the equal sign. Remember, my goal is to get the variable by itself. So I'm going to do the opposite of what's being done to the b. And what's being done to the b is they're adding 13. So I'm going to subtract 13 from this side and this side. 13 minus 13 is 0, so I have just a b left over. 4 minus 13 is negative 9. So b must be negative 9, and then I'll check my work by plugging negative 9 back in for b. So I'm going to write 4, just copying this equation, 4 equals 13 plus, but instead of a b I'm going to write a negative 9. 13 plus negative 9 is, we have to subtract 13 minus 9 is 4. Positive one's bigger, so I get a positive 4. So that one's done, and I did it correctly. For the last one, let's do 15 plus q equals 6.4. So sometimes when we see decimals, we get a little intimidated, but it's going to be the same exact process. Draw my line. The opposite of adding 15 is subtracting 15. 15 minus 15 is 0. I just have a q on that side. 6.4 minus 15 is negative 8.6. And then I have to plug my answer back in. So 15 plus negative 8.6, does that equal 6.4? Let's see, 15 plus negative 8.6 is 6.4. So we did it correctly, so that one is correct as well. The next one is a story problem, so let's read that together. It says, Jack has $5 less than Jill. Jack has $12. Write and solve a subtraction equation to find how much money Jill has. So the first thing we always do when we have a story problem is to define our variable. So that means I'm going to pick a letter, and I'm going to use J because it's Jill's money. And J is the amount of money Jill has. So defining our variable means we write down what our variable represents. Oops. Jill has. And then I'm going to put this J down here for my equation, and Jack has $5 less. So we say $5 less by subtracting 5. And we say that $5 less than Jill's is equal to 12. So $5 less than whatever Jill has is $12, which is how much money Jack has. So we've written our equation, now we just need to solve it. I'm going to draw my line down the equal sign. And then the opposite of a negative 5 or subtracting 5 is adding 5. So I get J, and this is 0, so J is equal to 17. Then I need to put units on there, so J equals $17 because Jill has $17.